Midway. And your birthday is November the 9th, 1924?
Right.
Okay. I heard you say earlier that you were drafted into the Army? Okay.
I drafted in the Army out of Texas A&M College. I was a freshman in Texas A&M freshman. I went one semester.
One semester to A&M. Giga Maggies.
Right. I went one semester and got drafted.
When I was in the first grade, my youngest brother started A&M the year I started the first grade. I've grown up with Giga Maggies all my life. Okay, you were, what division were you in? What?
86th Infantry Division.
86th Infantry. Okay. And your highest rank?
Staff Sergeant.
Staff Sergeant, okay. You served from when? When did you go in?
Well, I can't remember that day. I tell you what,
1944 you put on this.
Okay.
Is it about right? Was before the end of the...
Let's see, I graduated high school in 1942.
Okay. So you may have gone in early.
I went one semester at A&M, 42, probably about 44.
Okay.
About 44 is when I got drafted, went into the Army.
And you were living in here, but going to, did you commute back and forth to A&M? You went over there, you were in the Corps.
In the Corps.
Oh, good. And did the Army just draft you? I'm a girly girl. I don't know how, whenever men get their draft notices, can they choose what branch they go into?
Nope, they just draft you.
Okay, they tell you which one you're going to.
And I went into the 86th Infantry Division.
Okay. Do you recall your first days in the service, what they were like?
Well, the only thing I can remember is different.
Different. Well, it couldn't have been too different from A&M.
Well, no, I was used to it.
Okay. Right.
Starting off with the left foot.
That must be my problem. Tell me about your boot camp. Do you remember any of it?
Well,
it was just like college.
Just like, that's right, just like being in college.
Where were you first assigned out of boot camp? Where did you go?
Fort Hood.
Fort Hood?
Basic training.
Okay, and then from there?
There I joined the 86th Infantry Division.
Okay. And you went overseas right away?
Not right then. I took my basic training, it would last about 6 months or something, so-and-so, I forget now.
Okay.
How long it was. And then then we went overseas. I was with the company, I forget now just how long, but
okay.
Then we went overseas and landed in Le Havre, France. And then we went in, now this all happened in the ending days of the war.
Right.
Went into France, and then we went through France, but the battlefield was east of us.
Okay.
And then we went into France, and then we went through Germany. No shooting in Germany. Went down into Salzburg, Austria. And when I got down in Salzburg, Austria, the captain asked me to go with him, and I forget now whether it was in a jeep, I assume. We went down in the southern Salzburg, Austria, and they had just captured a German troop train that had American whiskey, Scotch whiskey, and beer, and all kinds of food and groceries. See, And Salzburg, that was a big headquarters for the German army down there. And so I had gotten a bottle of that Scotch whiskey. And I said, I'm going to take it home to my daddy. Well, but this soldier had just captured a German SS officer. And that is the SS is the elite German army soldier. And this American soldier had gotten this German Luger, which only the officers can have. You've heard of them,
right?
In Camel. And so that American soldier said, he didn't know my name, but would just say, Bill, I'd like to have that bottle of whiskey, Scotch whiskey. And I said, well, okay, I'd like to have that German Luger. So I swapped that bottle.
I think you came out ahead.
I swapped that German Luger for that bottle of whiskey. And I've still got it. I still have it, but my daughter got it here several months ago when she was here and wanted to take it with her so she'd be sure I wouldn't give it away. I'll lose it or misplace it or something. But it's a treasure.
Right. And I bet he doesn't still have his bottle of Scotch.
I doubt it.
So you still have something to remember that by.
Right.
Okay. What was your job assignment during the war? What did you do?
Well.
What did a staff sergeant do?
Well, it's just a higher ranking than a private.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you had to fill in papers or something.
No. Just like a staff sergeant is would handle drills and handle just kind of like a boss.
Okay.
Boss of the private.
Okay. Like a supervisor.
That's right.
Okay. And your father and mother, they were here in Madisonville.
My father was born in Midway, Texas, one of 12 boys.
Okay.
In the family.
And his name was?
Leon A. Wakefield.
Okay.
Leon A. Wakefield.
Buddy.
But
Leon's brother.
He got that later on. The Buddy Wakefield. They called him Buddy Wakefield.
Okay.
And he was a school teacher.
Okay.
And he was a lay preacher. And he was later on, and he had a baseball team.
Okay.
Semi-pro baseball team.
Okay.
And they played different places and everything. And I recall one particular place they played was in the prison in Huntsville, Texas. You'd go in down there. At the prison here in the same building, but they had the ball field right adjacent to it there. And I'd often go with them when they played on Sunday. And I'll never forget going in there, they'd unlock the door, the guard would unlock the door, and I'd go in with Daddy, and they'd lock us in that prison, in there with those prisoners, And, that really kind of sobered me up, And I said,
kept you on the straight
what
and
if I have
narrow?
a ride here and I can't get out of here? So anyway, everything worked out. We played several times, and then he had played in Elkhart, played in Huntsville, just different places. And played in Elkhart. And while in Elkhart one time, he met my grandmother, Dr. Davis's daughter, and they got married. Later on, they got married.
And what was your mom's name?
My mother, Hattie. Hattie Durst.
Okay. And who were her family?
Dr. and Winnie W.E. Davis.
W.E. Davis, okay. Okay, and and your mother, she was born in
Elkhart, Texas.
Elkhart? Okay.
That's a little town 10 miles south of Palestine.
Right.
On a railroad track.
Right. Okay, and you, so how many brothers and sisters did you have?
One brother.
One brother. Leon.
Jr.
Junior, okay. And how many children do you have?
Two. Kay and Karen, two girls.
Two girls, and your wife was?
Nita Barrett.
Okay. So you and Elwood would be kin, almost.
That's right.
Almost, sort of.
Right.
Okay. Let's see, what kind of food did your mom cook when you were growing up?
Well, just country food, turnip greens, black-eyed peas, cornbread.
Just everyday staples.
Just everyday staples, that's right.
And I know your dad had a service
station. About a half a block down there on Town Branch.
Uh-huh. Tell me about growing up and here in Madisonville. What was it like?
Well, it was different. It was a city compared to Midway.
Okay. When did you move from Midway? You were born there.
And I was born in 1924.
Okay.
And moved to Madisonville in 1930.
Okay, so you were 6 years up.
All right, and I couldn't start the school. My brother had already started the school, and I couldn't start. So I had to wait a year before I could start the school.
Well, Elwood just walked in, so I'm going to get him to come back here and get him to go on with this.
Okay.
Okay. We've already done part of it, but we're going to let you continue.
You missed the big part of it.
We've talked about some of his military, but you can just talk on and just interview. We've got Charles and Dr. Plunkett. You didn't bring your glasses. Just sit here and talk.
I went to Ed Fannon's funeral. I'm
Yes,
sorry.
that's okay.
Ed Fannin,
Well, I'll be darned.
sheriff of 20 years.
But you know what? I'm often reminiscent here that all of my good friends, boys and girls, are deceased. I mean, all of them.
We're still lucky.
Just all of them, just about. Catherine Boney, Betty Cooper, Jeff Carter, and Tommy Shine, and
Dr. Reed.
Dr. Reed, just all of them. Dover.
Sonny Ferguson.
Who?
Sonny Ferguson.
Yes, Sonny Ferguson. I shouldn't have forgot him. Who else? Margie Park, Margie Evans. Let's see.
Paul Parks.
Snooky Evans is wife. Who was? Snooky Evans. Who was his wife?
Snooky's driving. Need my glasses. Can't think of her name.
I can't think of. But anyway, just numerous of them. Just nearly all of them. Margie Park, Margie Evans. Margie Evans, that was Snooky's wife. Well,
Yeah,
she's deceased too.
Yeah.
Just, and Stover.
Curtis Krause.
Stover and Sturgis Krause, both of them.
Charles Krause, Curtis Krause. Yeah, Bass. Joe Bullard.
Yeah, just all of them. My class is cleaned out. And Sonny Ferguson.
Yeah. About him too.
Huh?
This thing still on?
I guess it is.
I think it is. Well, Bill, you says there you served in Europe and Asia.
Yeah.
How did you get both of them?
Well,
Where'd you go first?
I went to France, Germany,
Okay.
Austria.
When were you there?
About,
Years?
about 46, something like that.
Okay. Then you had to go over to Asia?
Then I went to Corregidor, Corregidor and the Philippine Islands. Stayed over there a year and a half.
You don't cover up the cave with Japanese in it or something like that over there?
Oh, we had 50 Japanese prisoners of war that we worked and cleaned up the. See, let me start over. General Wainwright was the head general of the Asia, And he had pulled out when the Japs took it. Well, he pulled out and went to, I forget now. I forget now where he went, but anyway. And we were sent over there, about 50 of us soldiers, sent over there to clean up that island and make it a historical battlefield.
You erect any monuments, or
Huh?
erect any monuments?
Not that I know of, but we took those Japs and we cleaned up that, there was a Melinta tunnel, a big tunnel in a mountain, big mountain. And the ship would come in on the east side of the island, and they'd unload all of the equipment, the guns, ammunition, food, all of the necessities, and they'd store them in there. It was a car. The tunnel was so big that it had 16 corridors on each side of it. They had little pigeonholes in there like that, and they put ammunition, food, water, drugs, anything that they needed on the island.
Did y'all fill it up or what?
No, this was after the war was over. The war was over then.
Yeah, but did you fill up the tunnel? Put dirt in it?
Oh yes, we leveled it out. It had a concrete floor in it.
You mean the Japanese were storing stuff in there? Is that what it was?
No, the Americans stored
Americans
it.
stored it before they were captured.
The Americans had it.
There were 16,000 of them that finally surrendered.
Yes.
At the time.
And then my first job was to take those Japs and redo the lighting system in there. They had a card about 50 yards or 100 yards long inside there. Had lights strung in there. See, when the ships had unloaded, they bring the guns, ammunition, food, water, medical supplies, and everything in there. And the lights were all out. And I was to help, several of us would help string up those lights in there.
Find some generators, huh?
Yeah. And anyway, so we didn't have any step ladders. So I got one of those Japs on my shoulder, standing up, and he was stringing those lights up. And this was the first Jap. And he got his finger in the light bulb and knocked him completely off of my shoulder, and he hit that floor just like that. I thought, oh my goodness, he killed him. He did. I went down there and knocked him out, but I kind of blew in his face and got him pawed out. But anyway, that's really one of my first experiences. And then I was put in they knew I was mechanically inclined, so they put me in the water. We had a gasoline engine, an old car engine or truck engine or something in there, and I pumped water from the well and helped build a big water storage tank, build that up, and just different things like that. And then another thing is interesting that I was there a good while, and the company commander came to me and said, Wakefield, I want you and Bob to get in this boat out here and go out there to that ship in the ocean. And I had noticed that ship sitting out there, just parked out there, day in and day out for about 2 or 3 weeks or a month, you know. And I never could find out what I never did ask the captain. Never found out what he wanted. But he says, go out there and trade this old movie, said we've just worn it out watching it, and take it out there to the Navy out there and trade it off for a newer movie, one we haven't seen. See, the Army had nothing, no transportation. The Air Force had airplanes to fly in stuff. And the Navy had ships to get food, fresh food and stuff like that. But the Army was the last to get anything. So anyway, we got in this boat and I went out there. And I got pretty close to the ship. It was out about a mile and a half from shore.